Namaste. Welcome to Yoga Body. I'm Julie Hill. I work with people to help eliminate pain, find pure movement, and get back into enjoying the activities that they love. Today we're diving into an exploration for standing backbend. Whether you consider yourself stiff or uber flexible, understanding the biomechanics of a backbend can really shift your practice and what you notice within your own body's movement pattern. When we talk about a backbend, we're really talking about the thoracic area of the spine, coming from here to about here, below the neck and above the lumbar spine. Now that area of the spine, along with the sternum and the rib cage, create the thoracic cage. And it protects our lungs, our heart, etc. So there's not a lot of mobility there, but we're looking to bring the vertebra, the spine, into some more extension, to keep and to encourage that flexibility into extension and flexion in our practice so that we can move well in our lives. So a lot of the habits that we do on a daily basis can actually diminish this range of motion. For example, sitting at a desk for long periods of time, or having a shallow breath continuously, or even looking at your phone or reading the book down in front of you. That sort of movement can really limit the range of motion that's available. So we want to continue to allow that to increase. So in my classes, I've noticed a couple of compensations that seem to be really common. There's some areas in the body that seem to be our go-to points. One would be our lower back. And so some people are going to move into their back bend from their lower back. Others are going to move from their rib cage, and then still yet others feel a lot of mobility in their neck, and that becomes a big piece of their back bend. But really what we're hoping to have happen is an arching through this thoracic area so that each vertebra adjusts a little bit to kind of carry that movement, that expression into the spine. So I'll show you what I mean. And for this exploration, if you have a block, great. You can use a shoebox, something that's light and has firmness or stability. But we'll go ahead and start here. So if you watch my hips coming into a back bend, sometimes if we have a lot of flexibility in the lower back, we may come into a back bend like this, allowing the hips to really move forward. Notice how they come away from the wall. We can gain some information, some feedback, if we take a block and place it just behind our hips. Feeling connected through our feet, that tripod stance, behind the big toe where it meets the ball of the foot, the center of the heel, and where the pinky toe meets the ball of the foot. And then slowly coming into that back bend again. Not pressing into the block, but a lightness there, so that the block is gently held between the hips and the wall, giving you that feedback that the hips are staying steady. Another compensation that I see often in classes, and this one's a little trickier, it's harder to notice, but that there is actually no arch through the thoracic area. It's just a tilt back of the ribs. So there might be a breaking point. It's almost as if the ribs and the hips are literally separating, and there's a big long stretch down the front of the stomach through the core. So we can think about uniting the hips and the ribs through the core a little bit, and then let it relax. And keeping that connection as we move into a back bend. For additional feedback, we can bring this block to the front of the ribs. So where these smaller ribs in the front kind of start to angle away, placing the block there. So not really high up, but a little bit lower, just on that part of the ribs. And then bring the block to the wall. And then here, keeping that connection, you can start to lift the heart up and just leave the arms down. Notice if the neck wants to go way back, and allow the neck to be relaxed so that it's not strained at all. Lifting up and then gently back, letting the shoulders relax, almost as if you had weights in your hands. And then returning back up. Adding the arms to that, if you want to explore a little bit further, we can go ahead and bring the block between the ribs and the wall, feel that connection, and then again start to add. Maybe the arms stay a little bit closer together, and you notice if you feel anything through the shoulders and the neck there, or you can start to widen them. And notice if that brings a little bit of stretch along the arms as we come into this extension through the thoracic area of the spine. So lots of room to play in there. Noticing those points that are go-to spots for us. If we continually come from the lower back, we're not adding to the range of motion in this thoracic area, which is really the intention of the posture. As well as if we just tilt back, still we haven't really added any kind of arch. We're just breaking through this line in the body, or maybe the neck is our go-to spot. So kind of play with those. Love to hear feedback from you. And if you'd like to dive into this a little deeper, or maybe work one-on-one, whether it be in person or through Skype, please send me a note at julie@yogabodylllc.com. Namaste.